Now that you've had a little more experience working with HTML, we're ready to move on to the second language that you will be learning in this class, and that is CSS. We'll start with Chapter 10 from the textbook under Module 2, and then Week 2 course materials, and then Chapter 10, Introducing CSS. You'll find that I provided several videos for you to view so that you can learn a little more about CSS from a different perspective than the textbook and from what I'm talking about or will talk about in these series of videos for Lab 2. There is also a PDF about CSS, and a lot of the information is from the textbook, but I also added some information with that. Let's start with that Chapter 10, Introducing CSS PDF. What is CSS? It stands for, let me resize my windows here. It stands for Cascading Style Sheets. And as the name implies, this is about giving style to your HTML files. You can think of it as what comes between your web browser and the HTML. It can take this information in our HTML code, tell the web browser what to do with that so it knows how to display it. It controls the look and feel of a web page in doing so. It also makes multi-column and complex layout for web pages possible. If you look at the page that we've done so far, there's really nothing multi-column or complex about that. And we're going to change that as we learn more about CSS. The main part why I really like CSS is that it allows for the separation of content. That would be all this content in our HTML file. We're going to separate that from presentation. We do not, or as a best practice, we are not going to put any kind of presentation information within this. We will let CSS handle that. Now, of course, we're just getting started with learning CSS. In this web page right here, this HTML file, it is meant to be created just for demonstration purposes. So we're going to learn about the good stuff and the bad stuff behind CSS coding. But later on, when we start building other web pages, we will follow best practice. But for now, we're going to do all that. We will learn about the 3 ways that we would apply CSS. That is inline, internal, and external. This goes from least desirable, something you want to avoid, all the way to the most desirable. And we'll break that down. Before all that though, let's go back to this slide right here, HTML versus CSS formatting. Before HTML5, there were certain tags that you can use that were for presentation. It could change the look of these HTML files or elements. For example, say I want to make all the H2 elements have a different color instead of black. Let's make it green, for example. Using HTML formatting, I would have to go to my first H2 here, use my opening font tag, say color equals green. My opening font tag, and then here's a closing font tag. I'll go ahead and do the same thing for the other H2 elements. We'll do unordered lists. and ordered lists. Save that and refresh our page preview. And sure enough, the H2 elements are now in green. Now, what if I change my mind later on? What if I say, green, I want to make it blue? Well, now I have to go line by line and hunt down wherever I put font color green. Well, now I need to make it font color equals blue. So I'll do that. I'll say blue, blue, save that, and refresh. Now my H2 elements that I did edit are now in blue, but then I found that I missed one. And then it looks like I have another H2 right here, and then this H2 right here that I never even changed to begin with. So my whole point in doing it this way is to show you that as your pages get more complex, it's going to be fairly difficult to deal with your web pages by looking at it line by line when it comes to formatting. That's not going to be a very efficient use of your time, especially with the capabilities of CSS that you're about to find out as we get deeper into CSS in these series of videos. My main point then is, when it comes to HTML versus CSS formatting, you would want to go with CSS formatting. HTML formatting, not so good. And because it's not so good, don't do it, and we'll delete it out of our example. Really not the best way to format your web pages. Okay, before I finish this video so we can start applying CSS, let me talk about this slide right here. Identify target audience needs. The main part that I want to talk about is this bullet point right here. Browsers differ in the way they render HTML and CSS. What this means is it's impossible to make your web page look the same in every browser. We have Google Chrome, Firefox, Safari. That's just on a Mac. And then you put in PCs, you'll have Internet Explorer, maybe, Microsoft Edge. Then you have your Google Chrome version. In Windows, there's Firefox. And then now we got tablets with their own browsers, smartphones. And then when it comes to smartphones, you have your Android, you have your iOS. There's just very many possibilities. And then to add to that, say on a Mac, many people might have different versions even of the same Google Chrome or Safari or Firefox. The best thing that you can do is to just make your code so that it's optimized for various browsers, or make it so that your design can adjust itself based on what the browser is. Now, that's getting a little too complicated to have to deal with all that in a basic web coding class. And for this reason, I want all of us to agree that we will use Google Chrome so that we don't have to worry about cross-browser compatibility and things like that. Let's just concentrate on the code. In the next video, we will start with inline CSS.